And we have the pleasure of welcoming back two familiar faces. We have Bill Militello, a Marine Corps veteran, and Scott Mackus, a Navy veteran, and they're going to be discussing their latest commercial real estate opportunity in Florida. So I'll turn it over to Bill and Scott.
Thanks so much, Jake. Appreciate the opportunity to be in front of the veteran audience again and live on LinkedIn. Awesome. So as a matter of introduction, again, my name is Bill Militello. I'm a Marine veteran, Naval Academy class of 1992, and the CEO and founder of Militello Capital. And with Militello Capital, we've raised capital and participated in almost $1 billion in commercial real estate transactions. And specifically with the operator of the deal that we're going to share with you today, Denholtz, we've participated in several $100 million worth of transactions with them and seen similar properties to the one we're talking about today come full cycle in the same market, in the Orlando market, and investors have done very, very well. So if any of those investors are listening, it's a very similar deal that you enjoyed some very good returns on. And so I'm also joined by my partner, Scott Mackus, and so I'll introduce Scott in a few minutes. This opportunity, University Corporate Center, is a 7-building flex industrial portfolio in Winter Park, Florida. For those of you not familiar with Winter Park, Florida, it's about 6 miles outside of Orlando, Florida. Orlando and Orange County is experiencing massive growth and an influx of population and is doing very, very well. This 7-building portfolio sits on a 12-acre site. It's a multi-tenant, single-story flex industrial property that totals about 128,000 square feet. It's at the intersection of State Road 436 and University Boulevard. And as I said, only about 6 miles from downtown Orlando, in the Winter Park suburbs, and it's in close proximity to Full Sail University, as well as the University of Central Florida, which is, I'm told, the second largest university in the entire country. So very well located, and want to talk to you a little bit about it. We have a pro forma based on our diligence that it should return north of 17% a year, and an equity multiple of 1.8, and currently at its current state at 82% leased, it delivers a $1.45 million net operating income. We're raising $5.1 million for this opportunity, 4.1 million of equity and 1 million of debt, and we'll talk mostly about the equity in this. But if someone's interested in the debt, we can talk to them as well. Next slide, please. With any real estate deal, I just want to know, how are you going to mitigate the risks, right? This is an investment. All investments have risks. How do you mitigate the risks in an investment in commercial real estate? Well, as I said, I've done several $100 million worth of commercial real estate deals with the sponsor of this, the owner of this property. And the sponsor has owned this property for over 20 years. They're extraordinarily familiar with this, and they're recapitalizing the property now. And what does that mean? What does recapitalize the property? It means that we're buying out the former investors. And so we're getting very attractive terms in buying out the former investors, and so hence we're recapitalizing the property with the same sponsor who has owned this property for 20 years, and knows everything there is to know about this property, obviously, and they've seen it through a lot of ups and downs in the broader economy, right? The Great Recession of 2007 and 2008. They were successful. They were successful through the pandemic, and now we're getting an opportunity to participate in this property. And so, at 82% occupancy, The purchase price is at a 6.8% cap rate. There is a very robust level of leads to fill the vacancy that's coming up, and at only a 95% stabilized occupancy, that's a 9.6 cap rate. So you can see there's a lot of upside in this property, but it covers the debt service and pays a current income right off the bat at its current level. As I said, geography, it's in the Orlando market, and Florida continues to be the national leader in population migration and job growth, if not the #1 MSA in the country, the Orlando to Tampa corridor, which Tampa is only about 70 miles to its west. So if there's an economy to invest in the United States, this is arguably the first or the second best in the entire United States. The sellers, investors are always wondering, well, gee, what's behind the walls? Does the parking lot need to get repaved? Does the roof need replacement? Well, good news is there are no large capital expenditures anticipated. In fact, the roof and the parking lot are being resurfaced and being paid by the sellers. So walking into a rehabbed property, and the cost on the sellers, not on the buyers. And so the other risk mitigant is looking at competitors entering into the marketplace. The replacement cost of this property, including a land purchase, is anywhere between $230 and $250 per square foot. That's a lot. We're purchasing this at $168 a square foot and fully capitalized cost of $194 a foot. So we've got a huge built-in margin to defend against any sort of speculative build. But as we know, there's not a lot of speculative commercial building going on right now, if any at all. And of course, we're seeing a declining interest rates, which is very favorable to us since the high in the 5-year Treasury note and the 10-year Treasury note back in October, since its peak in October 2023, and we see those rates coming down. So those are some really good risk mitigants for this property, if not the best scenario you could hope for. And in terms of investor economics, this particular opportunity carries a 8% preferred return, 6.5% or better cash on cash paid currently. So the other 1.5% of that preferred return would accrue and paid as the rent roll increases. And there is a 10% carried interest. Should be noted that this is the first deal that Militello Capital and 10xVets have jointly sponsored. And for 10xVets members, you enjoy a 0% carried interest. So 10xVets members will get a discount and not pay the carried interest on this particular property. With that, I'd like to introduce my partner, Scott Mackes.
Good afternoon, everybody. And Jake, thanks for having us on the investor call today. My name is Scott Mackes, and Bill and I started 10xVets about 4 years ago. And 10xVets is an executive community for military veteran business owners and investors. So think of it like a Vistage or an EO, but we're all vets. We all kind of come from that same place, having served the country, and there's a super high trust level within the group, and it's a lot of fun. We call it growing through life with friends. But at the beginning of the year, a couple of the members wanted to form up an investor syndicate, and these folks had done really well in their careers. Some of them have had successful exits at their companies. They had money to invest, and they really wanted to surround themselves with like-minded investors so that they could do due diligence collectively and ultimately invest collectively into deals together. And so when you come into a deal like this, or any deal with a 7-figure check, you get treated a lot differently than investing in a deal with a 5 or a 6-figure check. So we formed up the investor syndicate at the beginning of the year, and actually these are all pictures from a couple of days ago. So on Monday, members flew into Orlando, Florida. Some drove over, for the folks that lived in Orlando or in the surrounding area, drove to Winter Park, and we met Steve Cassidy there from Denholtz on the right side of the picture, who's the operator, and we walked the deal, and we talked the deal, and it was a really cool afternoon we spent together. And for investors, being able to meet the operator and to ask questions and to see the property and to see that, hey, Costco is right across the street, and all of the busy traffic, and learn a little bit more about the market. One of the members lives in Orlando and found out his neighbor has his office located there at this center. So it was really cool. It's like, oh man, you could be his landlord. So it was a lot of fun. And then for the aspiring real estate operators, the folks that are doing real estate deals, like this was inspirational and aspirational to them. And so there was a great learning experience for folks that are in the community interested in real estate investing to see a pretty cool deal that not everybody has access to be able to invest in. So these are pictures from the deal trip. We really enjoyed it, and really the kind of the broader vision here is for 10xVets to be a funding source for the very best military veteran real estate operators out there. And so, we want to, if that's you, if you're on the call listening today or watching, and you've got a 7-figure capital raise ahead of you and you invest in commercial real estate, we'd love to meet you. And if you're an investor, we want to bring the best deals possible at the best value to investors. And as Bill mentioned on the last slide, 10xVets members on this particular deal it's a 0% carried interest. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So that's a little bit about 10xVets, a little bit about what we're building here, and some pictures from our trip from just a few days ago. So with that, if you are looking to add an institutional grade real estate investment to your portfolio, there's Bill's contact information. Reach out, shoot him an email. His scheduling link. We've got a deal tile on Localvest. And if you want to elevate your investing game, we'd love to get to know you, and we'd love for you to be a part of 10xVets, so you can learn more at 10xvets.com. So Jake, thanks for having us on today, and look forward to being in touch.